Good evening, brethren. Welcome to this 2013 festival launch event at your lovely centre at Hertfordshire, Watford. We hope it will be informative and enjoyable. Right Worship Brother Neil Connolly is of course the president of the 2013 festival. He's unable to be with us tonight, but does send his warmest good wishes to you all. The team tonight is myself, Martin Francis, for those of you that know me, Simon Cooper, our new provincial grand charity steward, the irrepressible Brian Handy, brings his energy and, dare I say, panache to the festival here. And finally, he's supported and occasionally reined in by Miss Murdoch. Together, we hopefully give you some inspiration for the next 5 years. The MCF is our charity, the Freemason charity, that provides support for accommodation, advice, practical assistance, and financial grants. The MCF is funded entirely through the generosity of Freemasons, us, and their families. Sorry, I missed that line there. And their families. Apologies. The largest part of the funding comes through the festival system, which Brian is going to run through with you shortly. Every 11 years, the provinces are invited into festival. The last one for Hertfordshire was 2019, as you know, and the next one is already in the diary for 2041. And maybe that won't concern me, and perhaps one or two others here, but for the younger ones, Sam, you might be on the case. You might even be a provincial grand charity steward, Sam, I think. I've been privileged to see both as provincial grand charity steward and MCF representative for Hearts, the wonderful and impactful work the MCF, our charity, does, whether supporting Masons and their dependents or local charities in our communities. Just before I hand over to Simon, just to say, in up to the year of March 2025, our charity, the MCF, gave grants, benevolent grants and awards totalling approximately £350,000 to Masons and their dependents. The number of course fluctuates. That was up 80,000 from the year before, and this year started quite slowly, so hopefully it means we're all doing a bit better and a bit more healthy. So that does fluctuate, but it shows quite an enormous number, I think, of the field. On top of that, they gave approximately £100,000 in grants for small and medium-sized local charities in our communities. So I therefore hand over to Simon. He will give an overview of the benevolent work of their charity from an armor's perspective, after which Ryan will be unleashed. Over to Simon.
Thank you very much, Brendan, for coming in this evening and to listen to us. For 7 years I was provincial ordinary in the province, which my tenure finished in about 2019. So I've had a great understanding of where we've helped and supported our membership over the years. We can provide, well the MCF can provide short breaks for carers. They can replace hips, knees, mobility equipment. They also deal with dental care, as well as mental health support and dementia care. Also the MCF, if you have financial needs, it may be a boiler replacement, funeral costs, daily living expenses. For young people, we can supply computer equipment, support for exceptionally talented children, be it in sport or the arts, apprenticeships. And all these things can be found on the MCF website. That's just a small breakdown of what is available from the MCF, which is our charity. We have, in the MCF, we have a support team called the Advice and Support Team, the AST, and they are professionally trained people that come into our Masonic community to fill in the paperwork and help in cases which are very involved, where there may have been a bereavement or there's exceptional special needs are needed. And they'll come in via our provincial almoner or via our visiting volunteer team. We have one of our visiting volunteers here today, which is Stuart William. Stuart worked for my predecessor, so Stuart's knowledge is phenomenal. Now the visiting volunteers are trained by the MCF, and they're Freemasons that go into our Masonic community and support our members and their dependents. Not only in Hertfordshire Masons, if you're a London Mason or an Essex Mason, wherever you live in Hertfordshire, we will support, and that is reciprocated throughout the provinces. So that just gives you an idea of what goes on with the AST and the visiting volunteer team and our provincial almanac. You can also go directly to the MCF via email or a telephone call. As Martin said, up to March this year, £350,000 in 1 year being back in to support Freemasons and their dependents. And with a festival, the money that we raise over a 10-year period, that money comes back into our province over that 10-year period. And maybe a little bit more besides that. So it just gives you an idea of what it's really about and why we need to have a festival. To give you an idea, I don't know if you've ever heard of NICE. NICE is the organisation that agreed to the medication that the NHS give us. NICE stands for the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. And just to give you an example, a Freemason, I knew there'd be somebody with a phone somewhere.
There's somebody telling us he's on his way.
Don't worry. Just to give you an idea, we had a Freemason in Hertfordshire who was very ill, and he was being treated with a particular medication through the NHS. He was being supported by the NHS and the medication was working. Unfortunately, very few people were responding to this type of medication, so NICE decided to remove that from the NHS. That then gave this Freemason a death warrant. The MCF stepped in and they paid for this medication. The Freemason was diagnosed with cancer at the age of about 55. He was about 60 when he started to receive this medication. Unfortunately, he died at about the age of 66. But for that 6 years or so, we supported that man. That medication was costing £30,000 a year to keep him alive. That's what we do. I know that's an extreme. But we also go in, when we look at other people that we support. If you have a Freemason in your lodge and he unfortunately passes away, his state pension goes with him, and possibly his private pension. This is when the lodge owner should be contacting the widow to make sure everything's working, if she's fine financially. If she's not fine financially, we can go to the MCF and look for support. Now, it doesn't matter if she owns the house or if she rents the house. It comes down to her income as well as any savings that she may or may not have. She may be assessed by a visiting volunteer like Stuart or the advice and support team. And it may be that she's then given a grant. It may be £1,000, it may be £2,000, £3,000, and she's assessed to her financial needs. That money, maybe £40 a week, maybe £50 a week. That's the difference between putting heating on, having a Sunday roast, buying the grandchildren chocolate biscuits and sweets, all those things. That's what we do. If we become Freemasons to pass away, unfortunately, the MCF can come in and support. It may be support with daily living expenses, it may be fuel costs, support for children, computer equipment, time, extracurricular activities, things like that. So there are all the things that the MCF do for us. That just gives you a little bit of an overview as to what we're about, what we do. So basically, we need your help and support as charity stewards to go into your lodges and explain these things to your membership and give them a better idea of what we do and what we're about. And that's why we have a festival, and that's why we're trying to promote the £600 with the jewel, etc., so that we can go along and give back into our community. I hope that's given you a bit of an overview of what we do in the pastoral side of it. Any questions a bit later on, do please ask me. Thank you very much for your time.
Brethren, and that is quite right, and what Simon has been talking about, of course, is that silent part of the charitable giving that we do. It is the honourable part that we do, which we don't always talk about, because obviously we respect the privacy of ourselves and our neighbours, etc. There's also the other side, the charitable side that we give, and the honour that we get by going into festival. And what is festival? Well, festival is the opportunity we have to remember what happened when we first entered into Freemasonry. And that moment when we're told, you know, have you anything to give? And of course we don't. And they say to you, remember that moment. Remember when you don't have anything. And when you don't have it, if you did have it, would you give it? And of course you would, because we all want to help each other. So that is why we're here to this opportunity to start talking about our turn to fill up that never-ending porridge pot. Because obviously, I can tell you now, the charitable requests that come in, charity is something that nowadays, in this day and age, unfortunately, when we're meant to be enlightened, is something so important for all of us. The call upon us is from every angle that goes on. And I would say to you, everything is worthy. And they've asked me to be that person to go and give it out. I give it to everyone. The first person I see, I'm not giving the money. And the trouble is, as Martin taught me, the hardest thing is to say, well, no, because it would go very quickly. Because obviously, who wouldn't want to help somebody? And the fact is, we have to replenish what comes out every year from the MCF. The MCF, what is it? The MCF is the Masonic Charitable Foundation. It's there for you, it's there for our province, and it's there for helping everybody, and that's what's so important about it. That's why you can see we picked Kitchener. Your province needs you. It's our turn to step up to the plate and to support the MCF so that it can continue to support us. And of course, we do realise it's an austere time that we're going through, but do you know what? We've tried to set it so it's not so onerous. It's £10 a month. Now I can tell you, I've been looking around what you can get for £10. You can't go down to M-Time and get haddock and chips for £10. You have to pay an extra 50p. Right? You can't go into the bar and I can't buy you and myself a pint of beer for £10. Right? We're a little bit above that. So this is all we're asking people each month to think, do you know what? I won't have that pint, I won't buy you one, I'll pop that in. That is the difference of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so it's not so onerous to do, but we can do it. And of course, it's quite important that we say to ourselves, we are going to be giving this money, not just to sort of, oh, yeah, where's it going to go? It does come back and it goes to it. And I'll give you an example, some food for thought on this. I would say to you, if I was to say to anyone, I'm in trouble, would you help me? And I'm sure, I hope everyone would say yes, probably there's one or two might not. But if I was to say, look, there's a child needs help, who here wouldn't do that? Well, of course, in this day and age, in this world of enlightenment that we have, where the news is on all the time, where we've got the internet, the World Wide Web, we are learning more than we ever knew 10 years ago. 10 years ago, half of us wouldn't be aware of what's half these issues that are coming up. People talk about mental health, they talk about because they recognise it, they see these problems, they see these situations that go on. Well, the MCF have recognised that, and they're helping young children, and they're going out there for them, and they're sorting out, and sometimes it's just a bit of help they have, sometimes it's saving a life. But interestingly, and this gives you a thought, to get somebody out there to that sort of level, to look after them, costs them roughly £600 a time. £600, what we ask from you. So every time you think, well, I'm paying my £600, you could be saving somebody's life. That's how important it is that we get to this festival. So how are we going to do it? The easiest way is the QR code, which is behind Simon and Martin there, or between them, there. You just have to click your phone, we can help you there. We've got cards to give out to you with it on there. We can actually sign you up here. Oh yes, thank you. It's my prompt here. And you know, when we are going to into festival, they are changing it slightly. There is now, the MCF changing it, and it's approximately a quarter, is it right, Simon?
A quarter of what?
So not quite, so I'm not telling you. A quarter of what we're going to raise is going to be for us to distribute, approximately.
Yeah, from the 1st of April, it's called designated festival income.
So we get to actually also point where that money goes as well. What's that say there?
Comes back.
Oh, I thought it said Acton's back. Sorry. So of course, you know, why does it say approximately 400,000 comes back?
That's how much unaudited we receive back.
Oh, right. Okay, so sorry, I missed that bit. Anyway, but the fact is, how do we do it? The easiest way is to sign up. If you sign up for the giving, the regular giving, it's say £10 a month takes you to being a steward. Steward, that's set to means if you're saving £600. You can become a vice patron if you go up to 1,000. You can be a patron if you're at 1,500, and you can obviously be a grand patron at £2,000, and that can go over those 5 years. Obviously, what you do as well affects your lodge. Your lodge gets statuses that comes into it. Good evening. And your lodge gets status going up to what you can do. There are lodges who have got ahead of the game, and they've actually smashed being that. They're even past being platinum status. like that. I would say that's something that in my own lodge I'm going to make sure that we're going to beat them all. But that's just competitive. And because it's competitive, how are we going to get that across to everybody? Well, what we're going to try and do, the giving is the easy way for us to say reference to it. But we're in festivals, so it means we've got to have some fun while we do it as well. So what we've done, we've come up with Charity Challenge. Charity Challenge is where you can challenge each other, you can challenge each lodge, you can challenge me, to a challenge and to raise money for the festival. I can tell you now, I said to my own, one of my lodges that I'm in, I said, I will jump out of an aeroplane, which is marvellous, because I don't mind that. My son pointed out, he said, you don't mind that, do you? They said, however, there is a small problem, I'm too heavy. Apparently, I'm about 4 stone overweight, so I'm now on a sponsored diet, and I can tell you, I've already got £500 worth of sponsorship, which is quite miserable. I was hoping no takers and I could carry on eating, but that's not the case. So all I'm saying to you is there are things that you can challenge each other to do. And what we are setting up, because we're in a more modern age, there is going to be a monthly YouTube programme that's going to start coming out probably in November for people to sign in to look up to. It's going to have all sorts of information for you on there, the different challenges that you can do, the things that we're doing as a province for you. One of them, I can say, when my son pointed out to me that I'm not bothered about jumping out of an aeroplane, they're actually raising £5,000. If they hit that target, I'm going to lick a fish. Now, I know you might say, what is that? No, I can't bear fish. I can't bear cold, wet fish, pond water, anything like that. So I've said £5,000, set that link, I will do it. Unfortunately, I was hoping for a minnow, don't think that's something catfish there. Anyway, the fact is, it could be fun. And this is what it's all about. If we make this fun, we will come together as a province. And it's so easy for us to enjoy that side of it, all the while we're still signing up and getting everybody signed up. If everybody in your lodge signed up, if everybody in this province signed up, we would smash this target. So just think, and everybody, doesn't have to be charity stewards, all of you just need to start finding out somebody's there. And of course we've got to realise not everybody can afford it. This is a part of our thing as well. It's not something that everybody is able to say, well, I've got that amount of money. So that is why we're trying to make it. So, if they can't do it that way, anything they can give still helps. It still helps them. So, I could keep going. I don't know if I've missed anything. Anybody want to tell me if I've missed anything?
Nick?
You haven't yet to me down. I'm so surprised.
No, I have nothing to say.
So anyway, all I would say to you is look out, the YouTube thing will come about. It's got all sorts of things. There's even about foreign currency collection, there's all sorts of things about all sorts of bits that will come out. I'm not going to confuse you with it. Just say to you, this is our festival. Let's all come together and make a difference. Thank you very much. And make it fun.
I'm trying to say something I shouldn't do because I'm the poor sort to get a flight. So he really does need to lose the weight, otherwise you both come down to crash, so you better listen.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not signed up yet, by the way, Watford Centre and Jules. I can listen to Jules straight away if he signs up.
You're right, sure. I should have said we have got Jules here. We've got forms for you here to sign up. There's a form at the back, a paper one if anybody wants to do that. We've got QR codes. We can do it online. We've got an iPad here ready for anybody. Or what else can I say?
Can I just ask as well? Most of us, I'm sure, are aware. What is the total target?
2.25 million.
I'm just conscious of it, something we aren't aware.
We're reasonably confident we're going to beat that.
Of course.
We had a soft launch last year. We've already banked a reasonable amount of money, made a good start. We're slightly ahead of target for year one. And there's certainly a lot of momentum since the annual meeting in September. Reverend, one thing in Brian's message, it is important to remember that when you have a direct debit, you can cancel it. A couple of which I'm not sure what outlook is next year, the year after. So should you set up a direct debit of 10, 15, £20 a month, you can reduce it, you can increase it, or you can cancel it. So, you're not, if your circumstances change, hopefully not, but if they change for the worst, don't feel obliged to keep it running. It is without detriment to yourself or connections. So you must remember that. And also, there may be someone in your lodge who is desperately keen to wear a festival jewel, but perhaps can't afford it. The argument of the charity stewards should be a little bit sensitive around that issue. As Brian said, if every single person in your lodge were to sign up for £10 a month, your lodge would be grand patron. It is the lazy man's way of raising money for the festival. It's that simple, because at £600 at lodge level, the gift aid counts on top, which means you'd be giving £750, and grand patron level equals the number of members in your lodge times £720 grand patron. So it's fairly simple, and hence Brian's enthusiasm to get you signed up. Apart from the QR code, which it's very simple to use, as Stu said, he's got some forms. You can phone up. Some of the older chaps who can't see it, don't have a smartphone, or perhaps their glasses aren't so good that they can see the small print. There is a number. The charity stewards here should have had, or would have had, a PDF sent both by me about 18 months ago, by Tom Johnson last September to September 2024. If charity stewards here have deleted that in error or lost it or whatever, please feel free to give Brian and Nick a call. They'll send that back out to you. It's even as basic as how to fill in a verification schedule for the festival, because it differs ever so slightly from your own lodge belief chest. So there's an awful lot of information there, and these guys are right should you need it. So Brendan,
I was just to say one other thing which I forgot to say, surprisingly, is the fact that of course I'm happy to come to anybody's lodge and talk to the lodge. Under my own steam, I'm more than happy to come and talk to them if you want that. If you need me to come and convey the message, bang my drum, I'm more than happy to come and just as well.
Brendan, are there any questions for any of us?
I've got one, right? Keep the year, so you've got 20 members in your team, that's 20 times 600, yeah?
Yeah.
This year we've got 3 members, so we've probably 4 members left. You still got to find an extra 600 for each per person, isn't it? Oh, so you've got a reference that will be adjusted.
There's no easy answer. We froze the date.
It's fact, isn't it?
Yeah, at some stage you have to take a cut-off point.
Or get more members.
That
Well, I've got only 4 and 4, so we will know when
Well, that's quite true.
well, that cut-off date was set, top of my head, it was either the 1st or the 30th of September in 2024. You have to take a date. I had someone phone me this week from, I can't remember, All Hallows Lodge at Chesham, saying they'd also lost 3 members. And I did refer to Dick Nifton, the St. Festival chairman last time. He said, look, we just have to go with those numbers. It's unfortunate. There are other lodges that have also grown since then. And in fairness, we've already achieved platinum status, but we're just about to get another 7 members from the lodges that have closed. So for some lodges, it's going to be easier because they had 20 members in September last year, then they've got 25, 30. For others, it's a little bit harder. It's best endeavours, and it's not easy, but I know last time it was fixed the same way at a particular date. Any other questions?
Time shut down the year of the graphic.
Oh, it's on the website. It's a disgrace.
I think I'd just like to make a point, really, on what Robbie has said is, let's face it, what we're here to do is to raise money for charity. Honorifics are nice,
Yeah.
they're great, but what's important is the money
Exactly.
and how it's spent. So
Yes.
personally, I'm not too worried about the honorifics,
Yeah.
but I appreciate
There are some who like a level.
I appreciate that it's a spur for many people. When it's a secondary spur, it's the money that kills.
It's recognition.
Yeah.
It's recognition, and the charity is one of our fundamental principles, isn't it? And just remember, brethren, if you've got money in your relief chests, it's not really doing anything, is it? So if you feel that you want to give it to, put it into the festival, by all means do so. But also, the Prince Grand Master is very aware that you also have in your Master's hat your own personal local charities that you want to give to. There's absolutely no problem with that at all. We do not expect, as an executive, for you to put every single penny into the festival. If you've got a master as a hospice or whatever it may be, which is close to their heart for whatever reason, please don't detract from that. Please give to
I should have said as well, I do know that we have got, I've visited a couple of lodges and both of them they've done, the collection goes to the festival and the raffle prize money thing goes to the local charity they want. We should remember, because I say, all the local charities are still out there. I've been seeing quite a few of them and sort of like seeing what we can do. But,
I was just going to say, I agree with your point. We've got a couple of guys, one guy gets £3 a month, he telephoned himself going through a divorce, that's all I can afford at the moment. I said, do nothing, he said, no, I insist on doing something. So he got £3 a month, he said he'd like to increase it, hopefully next year or the year after. We've got a couple of guys doing £5 a month, it's whatever you can afford. And for some, I appreciate it, they just can't afford anything. You're not judged. And I've got a couple of guys giving £200 a month. So that kind of balances it out. It's not a race, it's just, please support our charity if you're able to. What were you saying that last point?
About the raffle.
Yeah, that's another thing, and that's something that, as Simon and Brian have just said, it's something we've always done in my own lodge. The raffle tends to go for benevolent purposes or local charities. The arms go to the relief chest. So I think I would encourage lodges not to just completely forget, the play skills and the Teams Unites and all those sort of lovely charities that we traditionally supported. And I know here Play Skills is a particularly popular charity at this centre, obviously been at Watford. Charity, it's wonderful, and please don't forget the other guys, but don't forget your own festival either, and have fun when you're doing it. Put the fun in fundraising. Thank you. Any other questions, Brendan?
Have I really sent them into a quiet coma?
I'm just going to say thank you so much for coming, and if you can, please support your festival, and if you could act as ambassadors and go back to your lodges and spread the word. I did have one chat, I want to just make you smile. I had one chat, and he wanted to remain anonymous. He was very kind when we did the food bank campaign about 2.5 years ago. And he said, I don't want to make a noise about it, so I'd like to donate £1,500 to two of my local food banks. Would you recommend? And I said, well, at Bournemouth, they definitely need some help. And maybe Dent, it was brilliant, let's support those. Anyway, he donated £1,500, he put it through our account. We then donated 750 quid to those two food banks. I then thought, well, I've still got a bit left in my back pocket from the MCF match funding programme. So I got the match, and I wrote a nice email and said, well, there's 2 letters of thanks from these food banks. By the way, I got your donation matched by the MCF. He said, oh, that sounds brilliant. Who's the MCF? It's a true story, isn't it? So you do realise that in some lodges, the charity steward and the elder brethren aren't getting the message over about our charity. So you are ambassadors, and if you can, do talk about the charity and the fundraising and the festival. Thank you.
Thank you very much.